Hi, everyone.
Hello.
All right. I'm so excited. I love seeing everyone pop on. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh my
Good.
goodness. I hear an echo, guys. So, sorry about that. All right. So I'm gonna get started. Basically I'm recording so that everyone can have a copy of this. What I plan to do is use the calendar invite, all the emails that you guys sent me basically, and send the recording to those emails. And then what I'll probably do,
What were the numbers?
I'll probably have everyone mute right now. And then as we go through,
Say that again.
sorry. And as we go through, you guys can definitely unmute and talk to me and, ask your questions and that sort of thing. If you feel like, you have something and you'd like to, ask it, but it's not super urgent, go ahead and raise your hand and then, I'll get to you kind of as we go. If I'm going to click on this, I'm just going to mute everyone for right now, I think, so that we're not having echoes and stuff. Actually, maybe it not, because I can't see that mute everyone button. So anyway, okay. So just to kind of get started, I wanted to introduce myself. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Corey Perez. I am a real estate broker in Washington, in Central Washington. And then I am also a real estate coach. I help my own agents and I help other agents basically as needed. As people tell me, they're struggling with something, my goal is to, I guess, kind of no agent left behind, right? It's more of a, I want everyone, I want everyone to feel like they've got this and not feel like they're struggling and just trying to figure things out always. I know that we tend to get in cycles where we're looking for, the next best thing or, the shiny object, right? And so I don't want, I just want to make it easy for everyone. And basically that's kind of my goal. So, okay. There are a lot of you guys popping on, and I'm just so excited to have you guys. So today, what I want to talk about is reverse prospecting. What I do as far as reverse prospecting, it's not the MLS function. It is essentially so okay, let me figure this out the way I want to say it. All right. So regular prospecting, we're going out and we're trying to sell something, right? And basically for me, reverse prospecting is the exact opposite. We're asking people to come to us and basically bring us the thing that we're looking for. And in some cases that may be a seller. In some cases that may be a buyer. It depends, right? It depends on what it is we're looking for. So let me tell you a little bit about me, just so you kind of have some understanding of why I am the way I am and why I do things this way. So for me, I got started 21 years ago, and basically the hardest thing for me was that I had a stalker. And it was really, really hard for me to put myself out there and put my name out there and even my phone number at one point, right? I was like, okay, I don't want to put these things out there. And my first broker basically showed me how to write a contract and then handed me a phone book and said, get started. Now, I don't know what I thought real estate was, but honestly, in my head, it wasn't all about cold calling. It wasn't about doing that at all. And so it took me a while to kind of figure out my own path and my own way, because it just didn't resonate with me at all. And so what I started doing was reverse prospecting. And basically, I just, my anxiety levels and all of the things associated with going out and like chasing clients and doing those things, it just didn't work for me. So that's kind of how this all started. Okay, so what I want to explain is, when we're reverse prospecting, what our goal is to get other people to raise their hands. We're not, going and chasing them and knocking on their door, pounding on their door saying, hey, guess what? I have something, I have someone. It's more of a raise your hand if this is you, and I'll come to you and we'll talk about it kind of a thing. So basically, what I do is I will, as an example, let's say I'm looking for an investor client and I have, a property that is, well, I don't even have to have a property, but I'm looking for investors. What I will do is simply, I will say something along the lines of, if you'd like a list of foreclosures, raise your hand, let me know, I'll send it to you. Whether that be off market foreclosures, on market foreclosures, that sort of thing. But I kind of give them the power, I guess, essentially, right? Like I give them the opportunity to come to me. What I've done with the sellers is a bit different. So what I've been doing in attracting sellers is really advertising my buyers. And the way that I'm doing that is almost the same way that I would do it if I was advertising a house for sale, right? I'm saying, okay, here's what we need. Here's the price range that we're looking for. Here's the area, whatever that may look like. And basically what I had happen this last week, and I've done it before and I've had success, but honestly, I was so excited by getting 9 off-market properties that I was like, okay, guys, like this is freaking cool and I have to share it, right? So anyway, so I went in and I went into a specific Facebook group that it was like the local area Facebook group. It is more of a community group than a buy sell trade group or something like that. And essentially sorry, someone is not muted here. Anyhow, and then I basically, I wasn't selling anything. So, a lot of people ask me, well, do you get kicked out, these kinds of things if you're, selling something or soliciting? Do people think you're soliciting, that sort of thing? And the way that I approach it is not, it just doesn't come off that way. I'm asking for help and I'm asking the community to help me. And the thing that was really incredible, I did have one person who was like, okay, so are we going to get part of your commission because we're doing the work for you? And I had the community basically hop in and say, no, this is really incredible. I had one lady say, I tried selling my house, or I sold my house, actually. I sold my house and my agent didn't do any social media. I had to go on and get buyers. I had to go on and social media and basically advertise my house myself. And it was kind of interesting to me that someone who had already sold their house, was like basically giving me props and saying, no, Corey, you're doing the right thing and you're being proactive for your buyers. And that it really kind of was like, okay, no, I've got this. Because that first person, who kind of gets in your head a little bit, you start to question everything and you're like, crap, is this the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? And so, and I also had 2 other realtors come along and basically say, da 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 da, all this stuff. And basically they just kind of, in a way patted me on the back and said, no, you're doing the right thing, which for me is kind of big because I get in my head, like I said, I have a lot of anxiety. And so I just I don't always, even if I'm doing the right thing for my clients, I don't always in my head, think that I'm doing the right thing when someone questions me or calls me out or says something kind of mean. So anyway, so what I did in this particular instance, I literally just said, okay, this person is looking in a small community called Sela. And so I was like, okay, attention Sela homeowners. I have a buyer who is looking for 3-bedroom, 2-bath, doesn't have to be in the country, but can be, they'd love a garage, but doesn't have to have one, that sort of thing. And said, okay, and here's the price range that we would like to stay at. We could go a little bit higher, but this is where we're comfortable. And I had 9 different people reach out to me. I had some agents reach out to me too, who were very excited. I have something coming, let me know, when you guys are ready, all that sort of stuff, which was really good. And it was really kind of exciting because then, other agents reaching out to you, it's just, it's a good thing. The more communication you have with people who know that you're, in that market or helping someone in that market, the more they bring stuff to you as well. So anyway, that was kind of how I attracted the people. Now, I've had some questions about, well, are you converting them, that sort of thing? And the answer is yes. There are some that are like, okay, I want to list my house. There are some who went just straight into my DMs and I think because they saw the lady who wasn't very nice and they were kind of afraid to put themselves out there. And so, being very open to bringing people to me is kind of it's a mindset. It's a way of looking at things and saying, okay, I know what I need. And so I'm going to be very specific about the things that I need and asking for help. And it doesn't always go like a help me kind of a post, right? I mean, like I said, with a home investors, I'm more going to the, this is what I think you're looking for, and here is my solution to that. So everything that I'm doing is kind of a solution oriented offer. I pretty much always look at reverse prospecting as a way of offering something of value. And basically those people coming to me saying, okay, I want what you have, or I know how to help you, or, I just need more information. And so really that's kind of the way that I look at reverse prospecting. Sorry guys, I'm just seeing that there's some chats too. Oh, thank you so much, Dawn. I do, like I said, I do have anxiety, so I get very nervous. And seeing all of your faces is wonderful because it kind of, it calms the nerves a little bit. Seeing all the black screens is like, okay, I've got this, but they might be there shaking their head at me, right? So anyways, so I appreciate all of you who are on here. Okay, so one of the things that I like to do is also, I like to, I guess, it doesn't matter if it's just for buyers. It doesn't matter if it's just for sellers, like let's say that your business is first-time home buyers, right? And that's who you focus on. I would recommend, if you're searching for first-time home buyers, basically, I want you to put everything else out of your mind. Like you are focusing on just one person, whoever that is. You want to be the solution to the problem that they're facing. Oops. Sorry, guys. I go there. Okay. Anyway, so one of my biggest pet peeves in real estate, and I've done it, so I'm sure you guys have done it, but is if you're thinking of buying or selling, call me, right? Like, I'm sure, like, raise your hand if you've done that. Like I have, like everyone does, right? But the problem is that when you're doing that, you're kind of lumping everyone into one basket. No one knows what the benefit is for them. Everyone is looking for what is in it for me. And so you definitely want to be offering something that they're going, oh, okay, I need that thing, and so for first-time home buyers, sometimes I'll do like Q&A sessions, and I'll bring them on Zoom and I'll just talk to them and answer all their questions and make them feel comfortable. Sometimes I'll meet them in person, kind of depending on where they are and how comfortable they are. But it's truly about, what can I offer you? What can I do for you that's going to make you reach out to me? And exactly, always be of service. And it's like, sometimes I'll do like a list of 13 expenses you should know about if you're buying a home. Sometimes I'll do just, a Q&A session. Sometimes I tell stories and kind of brag. I hate bragging. Sorry, guys. One more thing about me. My dad always told me as I was growing up, like, you don't pat yourself on the back, like you let other people do that for you. And so it's really hard when I brag. I feel like I'm being like kind of stuck up or snotty or something. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, what would my dad say? But it's one of those things where, you want to show other people what you're doing to help people, and you want them to see how it could benefit them too. So, I'll tell stories and explain, kind of where we are in the process with a buyer, or what's happening with a seller, stuff like that. And basically people, they appreciate that. They see you as a person and not just a salesperson. And I think that that's kind of the biggest thing, is not to be, and I know it sounds kind of weird, right? But not to be a salesperson, like be a real human, and people are attracted to people. So, sorry. Okay. So anyway, so I'm sorry, my tongue feels a little jumbled up. Okay, so the most important things to focus on are answering a set of questions for yourself before you do any advertising. These questions are, if you're, and it doesn't matter if you're focused on a buyer or a seller, but where am I trying to find these people? Where are they hanging out? What is my purpose? And have one purpose so that you're very focused. Why am I reaching out? And, it's really all the W questions, right? But you want to always be answering those questions or asking those questions of yourself, so that when a buyer or a seller looks at your post, looks at your offer, looks at whatever you're doing, you want them to know that this is for them. When we go and say, okay, if you're thinking of buying or selling, call me, no one, like, I'm sorry, but people aren't going to be like, oh yeah, I need to call her. They're going to be more like, okay, why? I look at myself going into a store, right? And like, I'm thinking Macy's, right? Like, they're always right on you, and they're like, oh, are you looking for anything? And for me, and this is maybe just me, but I get so like I feel pressure, right? And I don't want to feel that pressure. I want people, and I I want to ask a question when I'm ready to ask a question, basically. You know, I'm not one to be pressured in any way. Like, pressure just kind of freaks me out. I just kind of get like all flustered and everything else, and it just doesn't work. So don't pressure people to be in your presence. You know, like, you don't want someone to go, oh, I asked her a question and she's gonna pester me for the next 10 months until I do something, right? Like, you want people to feel comfortable and feel like this is meant for me, you know. And I'm not saying that sometimes pressure isn't needed. Like, yes, that it is, but not when we're trying to attract people to us. It's not about that. Okay. Can you explain how you do the Zoom Q&A? Yeah, so basically, honestly, the way that I do it is I will pretty much make an offer, and oh, I might have left this out. I love Facebook groups, if you haven't noticed that already. So with Facebook groups, I will go in and, you know, I'll go into different places, but I have my own Facebook group for buyers. And basically, as I'm talking to buyers, I will add them to my Facebook group. And this is how I stay in front of them, because I am not high pressure. I am not, like, if someone tells me I have bad credit, like, okay, how bad? You know, everyone's idea of bad is something different. So I put them into this group and I will talk to them and I will explain to them what it is that bad credit is. Not that I talk about bad credit, I tell them the opposite, actually. But, you know, I explain to them, like, look, if you have a 580 credit score, technically you could be buying. You don't need a 700 credit score. I'm not saying that it doesn't help, but you don't have to have that. And when you tell people these things and you give them a little bit of hope, they kind of hang in there with you, right? Like, they kind of wait to see what else you're going to say and how else you're going to help them. So I may talk a little bit about down payment assistance. I may talk about the minimum requirements to buy a house. It kind of all depends, honestly. I'm going to say on my mood and what I feel like people are needing to hear in that moment. But basically, it is an invitation to say, just, you know, come and join me and let's work this out together. But I like to put them in that Facebook group because then they can see that there are other people with questions. Not that they always come out and ask their questions in the group. A lot of times I get DMs and I'm very open to that as well, because I don't care how they get in touch with me. Once they feel comfortable enough to reach out, that's the power, right? You've made them know you. They've gotten to like you and trust you. And so they feel comfortable enough to reach out to you. And that's why I love Facebook groups, especially having one of your own for your people. And to me, that's kind of almost like, this may sound weird. It's almost like having your own little fishing pond, right? Like, and you can go out and you can say, okay, today I want a buyer. Oh, okay, I'm going to go fishing in this pond. And basically we're going to go, you know, from there and see who jumps out today. Okay, so the name of my Facebook group, the one for buyers, is Home Buying Made Easy. And it used to have like Yakima County so that people would know. And then I was just like, okay, well, I don't serve only Yakima County, so I'm just going to make it a little more broad. And the fact that I help people all over the place, you know, and can refer them, I wanted to make it a little bit just easier, I guess. So that's the name of my group. Really, truly, I don't know if you've noticed, I like helping people. And so it's a matter of being there to help and being of service and not I had a coach once say not have commission breath, right? Like some people, they sense that you come at them and they're like, oh, they just want a sale. And that's not who we are, right? I mean, not when you're attracting it, not when that's not, it's not the way I work. And so I think that people become very comfortable with that because it's not me constantly saying, okay, how's your credit coming along? Okay, have you saved up any money yet? Like that's their business. They're grown-ups. They can come to me and tell me, okay, Corey, I'm ready. Now, do I lose some people along the way? It's a very good possibility. It's a very good possibility. But I feel like the people who are meant to work with me are the ones who stay around, who come and ask the questions and all of that. I'm not trying to help everyone under the sun. In 21 years of real estate, I have realized I don't want to work with everyone. And the people who approach me and say, okay, Corey, I'm ready. Like those are actually the ones that I want to work with because they've already shown me, they've gone through the steps that I've laid out for them, whether that be just at the beginning of my group, I have a video that's like, okay, it's a couple years old. I really need to redo it, but it's like, here are the minimums, here are the steps, here's my lender, do these things, and then let me know basically when you're ready, and I do a lot of talking. Don't know if you can tell that either, but I do a lot of talking, and it kind of, I think it relaxes people, when they can come and get to know you and they don't feel like kind of put on the spot, it just makes them feel like they can do this. Sorry, my little notifications are going off over here. Anyway, so what questions do you guys have? And feel free to unmute or raise your hand.
Well, first, I want to say thank you for this, Corey. This was great. Forgive me for not coming off camera. I have been up since 3:30 working, so I look a mess. Nobody needs to see that. So that's why I'm not on camera.
No worries.
But thank you for the Facebook group idea. It's a really good idea. I'm wondering how you would, because I work with investors, I work with some people that are non-investors, and then I work with like people who want to buy storage units and stuff like that, like bigger investors.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if you would mix those same people in the one group, or would you have a commercial group versus a residential group and give or feed them separately or feed them together to kind of grow them from one place to the other?
For me, I kind of feel like, okay, so I kind of feel like I would probably have like the investors in one group and, other like residential people in one group, just because there's such a different dynamic. But, it's not to say that you couldn't have one group that is, I'm horrible with coming up with things off the top of my head. Okay, so this is just made up.
Sorry, no, I'm a whole creative. I think of 50 living things at the same time. So
Okay.
don't.
So what I'm thinking is, maybe you have something that is, work with Dawn, or I mean, again, I'm horrible at that part, so don't quote me on that, but work with Dawn to buy investment properties, and that's one group. And then you have, work with Dawn for, residential properties. And basically the way that I would do it is I would probably be advertising both things, like if you have someone come into your world and you're like, okay, they're an investor and they're a residential buyer, then, I would kind of give them the option and say, hey, I have this, where, I'm teaching this thing or that thing, or I'm helping people do this or that. But I don't have a problem putting them all together either, because there is that aspect where someone who's just getting started buying residential, they may have aspirations to do something bigger in the future. And, so I think that just what the main goal is to get people to know, like, and trust you in an area that you feel comfortable working.
Thank you. That helps.
Okay,
Thank
good.
you.
Good. I'm so glad. Sometimes I don't know if I'm helping or not. So that's wonderful. Thank you. All right, guys, I am going to go into the chats because I see the number blowing up. Okay. How do you word what you're specifically looking for? Okay, so what I do is really, I don't have like a system. Okay, this is how I formulate a post or anything like that. But definitely it is a matter of just putting out there the main characteristics. Like, I'm not trying to be too, okay, let me give another example. I have a buyer that is looking for a house with a specific view of two mountains. And if he doesn't have both mountains, he doesn't want it. So it's kind of a more specialized property, right? And so I'm in these groups asking for this thing, and the results are definitely a lot less exciting, right? I've had 2 people reach out, but we're talking about probably an area of town that is like maybe 2 miles or so, so it's not like there's a lot of properties that are going to come up for that thing anyway. But basically I am looking to put it out there and just attract it back to me, and so I have people all the time who are like, oh, Corey, I saw your post, I think I know of someone. And that is everything to me, because I am just not trying to be, I'm not trying to be out there knocking on doors. And honestly, I just, it's something that for me isn't going to work, and I don't know if anyone else feels like that ever, but it's kind of one of those things where it's sometimes I felt like, okay, maybe I'm lazy, right? I'm not cold calling, I'm not door knocking, but I feel like everyone needs to do the things that they're comfortable with, or else they're not going to do them for the long term, and you have to be consistent in whatever you do. Otherwise, it's not going to work either. So, that's why I do things this way. And honestly, this is why I want to talk to people and kind of empower them to do that for themselves. Maybe, reverse prospecting isn't the way you want to go. Maybe you love cold calling and door knocking, and that's fine. But you just need to do the things that you feel comfortable with, because that's the only way that you're going to show people who you are, is, in a way that makes them want to work with you, I guess. I mean, some people like aggressive, right? But that's not me. So I'm not going to be doing these aggressive or more aggressive tactics, I guess. Okay, it looks like there's a couple more chats. Okay. Okay, so as far as starting a Facebook group from zero and doing those kinds of things, one of the things that I'll invite people into the group. I don't necessarily just let it sit there, and hope to attract people in that aspect. I will invite people that I think need to be in there, or people that I'm having conversations with, to come and join those groups, because not everyone sees everything, right? And that's actually another really good point to talk about. When you are on Facebook and you're posting, you may have 20 people see something, right? And in a big group, but that doesn't mean that everyone in that group saw it. So you need to continue to talk about things, and it doesn't matter if you kind of repeat yourself, because when you post once, only a small majority of people are seeing it or a small group of people are seeing it. When you post multiple times, they may actually see it because Facebook doesn't show everything to everyone, you know? Okay. Okay. So as far as what I'm posting, that is, I'm going to say that kind of varies day by day, honestly. I don't necessarily post in there every day. I try to, but it's really what am I feeling? Like, what does it feel like my people need to know about right now? Or, maybe like talking about buy downs or talking about, like I said earlier, down payment assistance. Maybe I have someone who's just like, okay, Corey, I need to know everything there is to know about this topic. And then I get kind of on a little kick and I'm like, okay, we need to talk about this because if they're asking me, other people want to know too. Does that make sense, guys? Okay, good. All right. What other questions do you guys have? And I'm sorry if you can hear my dog. He gets really high pitched when he wants to go inside. Okay. Oh, yes. So basically the post that I did, it literally, let me see if I can find it real quick on my phone and I'll read it to you. I did save it, so it should be easy. Of course, probably not as easy from my phone as it would be if I was just doing it from my computer, but okay. Well, shoot. Saved. Okay, that's not working. Okay, apparently that's not going to work. Sorry, guys. Okay, so what I posted was literally what I was kind of saying earlier. It was attention Sela homeowners. And then I talked about the details, the things that my gal needed, was looking for, that sort of thing. And basically I asked them, I told them they could DM me or, they could just let me know. One of the things that I want to point out also is if you're on Facebook and you're trying to attract people, make it as easy for possible as them to reach you. Like if you are, I don't know. If you're on Facebook and you're scrolling, tell me how many times do you say, oh, I'm going to stop and call this person? Like if you're on there scrolling, you're probably not thinking like, okay, yeah, I'm going to go call them right now and then come back to what I'm doing. Most of the times it's more of a like, okay, if you give them the option to DM you or something like that, and it's something that triggered them, they're going to do that as opposed to stopping and calling you. If you put a link like to Calendly in your post and you say, okay, book a call with me, they're more likely to click that than they are to DM you to talk to you because you're still a scary salesperson to them, right? Like make it as easy as possible for them to reach you in the format that they're using. If you're doing, a Zoom, then, message me or DM me in the chat, works great. But telling them to call you may not, like, that might be too scary still. Does that make sense? Awesome. Okay. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to see about, I don't know if there's a place where everyone is. For you guys who are on here, if you haven't already, I have a real estate group that I have for realtors, and it's called Lead Generation and Business Building Strategies for like realtors and brokers or something like that. But if you look up Lead Generation, you should see me pop up. And what I'll do is I'll post the post that I did, and just so you can kind of see like the comments and the post itself and that sort of thing, just so that it's a little bit easier because I can't find it on my phone. But I hope that that will be helpful to you guys as well. So okay, great. Thank you. What other questions do you guys have? And don't be shy, guys, okay?
Hi, Corey. Hi,
Hi,
Corey.
Sarah.
It's Diane. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good, good. Really great class. Just a couple questions. I posted them in the chat. But when you do when you offer to do a Zoom Q&A call, is it basically do candidly and say, hey, sign up and I'll do a Zoom with you? Or do you actually say I'm having a group Zoom call to answer questions that assuming it's a first time home buyer might have? And here's when it's happening. So do you announce an event of when you're doing it, or do you invite them to DM you if they want a Zoom call, or do you put up your calendar and say, sign up with a Zoom call with me?
I've done all. I'm gonna say that the last one I did, I got real brave, right? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna post this in one of our local buy-sell trade groups. And I thought this is a great idea because I run this buy-sell trade group. And so I was like, okay, you know, I'll have some control, I guess, in a manner of speaking, you know what I mean? And I know I'm not going to get kicked out of the group because I posted something, right? And so I did an announcement, and I did get several people who came into this Zoom call with questions and legitimate questions and that sort of thing. But I had a couple of trolls come in too, who were asking me about, you know, their bunker and if the police could find it and things like this. So, you know, it depends where you post it. The kind of people you're going to get is my experience. But, my favorite is honestly setting up a time and saying, okay, this is the topic that we're going to cover. And, you know, let me know if you'd like to come, you know, that sort of thing. I'll put the Zoom link. Like, I won't necessarily make them register. Well, sometimes I do. I guess it kind of just depends on where I'm posting it. But basically if someone comes to me one-on-one and they're asking me a lot of questions in that aspect, you know, I will go and I will do like a one-on-one Zoom. If it's someone who is really timid, you know, I will definitely, and they just have questions or just want to hear things, you know, and learn from other people, I find that doing the group Zoom is better.
Thank you so much, Corey.
Absolutely. All right, what else do you guys have for me? Did you have a question, Monica?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I had a question in the chat about someone who is being brand new. I love this. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit more. Okay, so for me, one thing that, because I'm a broker, I like to not compete with my agents, if that makes sense. So a lot of times when leads come in, I'm giving them to my agents for my agents to work, because I know that when my agents are winning, I'm winning too, right? It's just the way it works. So oftentimes I am bringing people in, but I'm not working with them personally, right? And my team is part of my family, so it just, you know, it works really well. However, last year I did not save enough for taxes. So this year I am selling real estate. And, you know, it is one of those things where it feels like I started off again from scratch. And so I understand when you're a new agent and you have nothing and you're kind of like, crap, what do I do? Right? Like, how do I get going? But the thing that I would say is that I would go in and I would do a post. Probably, I mean, honestly, actually, hold on. Okay, so Shirley, do you mind coming on and unmuting and talking to me real quick?
Hi.
Hi there. Okay.
I'm a hot mess. That's why I have my camera off.
No worries, no worries. Okay, so do you have any sort of idea at this point who you would like to talk to? Who would be your ideal client for your first client?
I mean, right now I'm doing buyers just because that seems like the easiest way to go. I would love to do listings because that's where the money's at, and then eventually go into commercial. But for right now, all I have is like a strong 30-year title background. I think I messaged you yesterday. So, yeah, so my buyers, but I have like nothing. I've been licensed 2 months.
Okay. Okay. So what I would do is maybe do something, and I can even send you, I'm going to write this down real quick.
Okay.
Just so I don't forget.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can send you over like what I do. I said earlier, you know, sometimes I'll do like a 13 expenses you should know about before buying your first home. Sometimes I'll put that out and basically say, hey, you know, if you are brand new, you know, you're not sure what to expect, that sort of thing, check this out, and people will start to ask for it. And, you know, so that's something, then you can start talking with them and kind of figuring out where they are in the process. And that's a question I ask, like, quite literally, where are you in the process? Because sometimes people, they feel like, I guess like they just, you know, are just another sale, right? Or just another thing. So I want to take it to their level and start talking to them from where they are. So if they tell me, you know, I haven't done a single thing, I have no idea, honestly, to me, that's great, because they have no like preconceived notions that this is going to be this or that or the other. It's just like, here, I'm going to be your expert and I'm going to guide you. I'll show you all the things you need to know. I'll tell you all the things you need to know. So starting off just by kind of offering something, essentially almost a lead magnet, right? Just something to put out there and get them asking you for information.
So you mean like a post, just like on, I have a business page and my personal page. So if I put it on that, so something along the lines, are you a first time home buyer and thinking of buying? I can help
That,
with, you know, explaining the process.
that would work. It is direct, and it may scare some people who are not as like sure of themselves, if that makes sense. So probably, and I have so many things. Okay. So one thing I would say is, you know, you want to give them an easy way in first. So, you know, if you say to them, I have this list of 13 expenses, DM me if you'd like a copy. That is going to be really non-threatening. If you come out and you're very like bold and, you know, that sort of thing, they're going to be a little shyer, in my opinion.
So leave it open-ended for them to come to you.
Exactly.
Okay. Because I'm sure there's a lot of people wanting to buy. They just don't know, like the people who bought, all those millennials that bought during COVID. Now they're like, oh crap. They don't realize all the changes. People don't realize improved land, unimproved land. They don't know the difference. So I put helpful information out on that, which seems to draw people in to ask questions.
Exactly.
So,
And when you can do that, when you can kind of show people like, this is what I know, you know, they are, they're more willing to come to you and ask you questions when it feels easy, you know, when it's non-threatening. So
Okay.
so definitely I would say, you know, kind of go that route. And the way I look at it sometimes is like I'm flying under the radar, right? Like I am not coming off as a salesperson trying to sell you something. I am coming off with education. And okay. This is I'm sorry, my brain goes like a million miles.
Nope, you're good.
So just as I explained what I had done and how I attracted 9 sellers, like I am betting everyone on here except for probably Carolyn, because Carolyn knows me. Everyone on here came to me because I said, this is what I did, right? So all of you, basically, I used reverse prospecting essentially in that way to help other people.
Okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense. And then once you start providing value to their situation, in turn, they'll go ahead and use you as their agent. Makes sense.
Exactly.
It's kind of brilliant. So
I'm not gonna lie, I think so too.
yeah. And you're doing great, by the way. So whatever anxiety you have, you're good.
Thank you so much. That really
You're
means
welcome.
a lot.
You're welcome.
So, you know, one of the other things I wanted to tell you is I want you all to kind of be aware. So there are 3 areas that I think that, you know, we need to think about. So one is Facebook groups. And I'm sure you guys have seen that Facebook will, you know, put like little, I can't think of what they're, I guess ads essentially saying, you know, here, this group has been recommended for you, stuff like that. And at one point they even had commercials where they were advertising Facebook groups because basically they're pushing community. When you're looking at a Facebook page, Facebook is using that as their way of earning money or having you pay them, right? So that's why everything on your page, they're like, would you like to boost this post? Because that's where they make money. So they're showing it to a smaller group of people than if you posted in a Facebook group. So you kind of have to play a game and you kind of have to understand what Facebook is doing in order to get the best results. So like on my personal profile, most of the time I only have things sharing to friends because again, I had a stalker and I'm still kind of terrified sometimes of putting things out there and being really, really open with just the general public. And other times I am just fine and I'm like, okay, no, we're going and whatever. So when I do something on my personal page, it is with the knowledge that those people who are going to see it are my friends and family, and it is to invite them to bring people that they know. When I do things in a Facebook group, it is much more intentional. When I do things on my Facebook page, it's literally like the way I look at it is if it was my website, right? Like it is for everyone to see if they're looking for me specifically, but I'm not interested really in posting their things that are trying to get me clients because it's like my website. I have to drive the traffic to that page in order for people to see it. Otherwise, I have to pay, and I'm not big into paying for things that I can do for free. Does that help? Is that good? Okay, so, oh, I see some more chats here. Oh, and yes, I do plan to share this recording. Basically what I'm going to do is once it processes, I'm going to upload it to my YouTube and then I'll share the link so I'm not like drowning all your emails with like a huge file. Okay. All right. So what other questions do you guys have? And just so you know, I'm an open book, so feel free. All right.
There are some questions in the chat. I think
Okay.
I don't know if you can scroll back.
Oh, certainly. Yes. Let me go
There's-
through here.
Yeah, you answered, I think, at least one of mine, but yeah, I see several and I'd love the answer too. Thank you.
Okay. And absolutely. Okay. So I answered that one. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you. I think I answered that one. Okay, the name of my Facebook group again is Home Buying Made Easy, as far as the one for buyers. My group for real estate agents is Lead Generation and Business Building Strategies. Oh, yes, I do sometimes. Okay, so the question is, do you have to be a certified instructor to hold the Zooms? And do I have a lender on the Zooms with me? So the answer to that is no to the first question. You don't have to be certified. Like, honestly, it's a matter of sharing your knowledge, and it is your experiences and that sort of thing. So no, but basically, as far as a lender, yes, sometimes I will have them, sometimes I won't. I tend to get very inquisitive with lenders, and I want to know about each of them, like what their minimums are, what programs they have, those kinds of things. So I will ask those questions, and I just kind of keep that information. So when I'm talking to like first time home buyers, I will say, okay, based on what I'm hearing of your situation, this lender might be the best option for you. And I'll I still give them options, of places to go and people to talk to, but I not lead them, but I kind of help them find the lender that I think would be best for them based on the information they're telling me. Okay. Okay. So as far as my process in getting people into my Facebook group, yes, most of the time I pretty much do everything on Facebook. So it is, I have Instagram and the other things, but I'm not as interested maybe. So I'm always on Facebook. So when I'm talking to people and they, start asking me questions or they approach me, yes, I will friend them. I will invite them into my group, and or if they're not my friend, I will send them like just the link to my group and invite them to join that way as well. Assuming like if I get a lot of questions about any one topic, I will start to talk about that more in my group. If I'm feeling like I'm called to share something, I will definitely share that, because it's kind of if I feel like someone needs to hear it, I know more than one person needs to hear it, right? Kind of like this here today. And then yes, and then I do talk about different things, kind of like just depending on what everyone is interested in. Okay. So one of the questions is, how do you word what you're specifically looking for? Honestly, it really depends on what I am looking for, I guess. I'm happy to talk more about that, kind of in a one-on-one situation, if anyone wants, just to like kind of help you narrow it down for yourself. And you're certainly welcome to unmute and come on and ask those questions too. Okay. So someone has a Facebook group moving to Orlando and nearby areas, how to get more engagement. I would say that you want to talk about it. You want to be where those people are and be offering information to bring them back to your group. I would invite them to your group. As you're out and about talking about things, invite them. Okay, someone else asked me if I'm sending out letters to communities for reverse prospecting. I do sometimes, but I am literally the worst at sending anything in the mail. I will get it ready. I will set it on my desk. I'll have it all addressed and stamped and all the things. But for some reason, like I second guess things and I just am in my own head sometimes. So yeah, it just kind of depends. Okay. Yes. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm just scrolling through these. Okay. I think, oh, okay. And so as far as getting people to raise their hands that are wanting to sell, that is the very best way to do that is by offering your buyers, like literally advertise your buyers. And don't do like, I mean, you can, however, I wouldn't do like a post of 9 people. Okay, I have this buyer looking for this, this, and this one looking for this, this, and this. Like I would do different posts for each person if you're going to do that and spread them out, like not all 9 on one day, that sort of thing. Like it's kind of going to dilute your message a little bit. So I would say to, like, okay, so in the one where I got 9 sellers, I was in a group that was a SELA community group. I posted what I needed from those SELA people. When I was looking for the land with the view of the 2 mountains, I was in a different community group and asking them there, you know, to help me. So it's kind of a, like I said earlier, you want to know where your people are and you want to be where they are. If you're looking for first-time home buyers, I recommend going into first-time home buyer groups. Just do a Facebook search for first-time home buyer. And there are some groups that are, I mean, thousands upon thousands of people. You will start to get a real sense of what people are asking and what they're wanting to know. And when you have that, it empowers you to talk about these things because you kind of get that sense of, okay, like you already know people want to know this, right? Your audience may not have these questions yet. They may not be thinking these things yet, but it's certainly helpful to them, if that makes sense. Okay, I don't want to keep you guys on here forever and definitely, you know, I want to help everyone at the same time. So if you guys have more questions, feel free to unmute and ask, or you know, you can pop more in the chat. I'm happy to answer them there too, but I don't want to keep you guys for too long. So feel free, if you have some more questions, to pop on and ask.
I just want to say thank you, Corey. That was very informative.
Absolutely. You're welcome. And I also want to say that I am here to help. Like I said, I am an open book. I love to share what I know. When I got started, my broker was like, don't touch my business. Don't do this. Don't do that. Like very much, I wanted to know about foreclosures. And she was like, don't touch my foreclosure business. I wanted to learn how she did BPOs. And she was like, you're not doing BPOs. And of course, these were all the things I did because she told me not to. And it's kind of the same thing, even with me coming out and sharing the information that I've shared today. If any of you are in my group, I shared a couple weeks ago, I had a coach that I was talking to, and they were someone who inspired me back in 2005. And I was so excited to be talking to them one-on-one and, you know, kind of comparing notes and this sort of thing. And then they kicked me out of their group. They banned me. They were like, you are helping other realtors. We don't want to play with you. And I was like going, is that not exactly what we're supposed to be doing, is helping one another? And so I've also been kicked out of several first-time like new real estate agent groups for the same reasons, for helping people. And I think it's absolutely insane because I mean, in some of those groups, they wanted me to pay to be able to teach people things, which again is kind of crazy to me. If you're doing something for free, like, why would you pay to be, I don't know. Anyway, but my goal is just to help people because I didn't have that help when I got started. I had to figure it out on my own, and I had to figure out, and it took me probably 3 years to figure out that I could do what I wanted to do in my business and not like follow the rules, I guess, that have been in place for what, like 100 years or some crap. Sorry. Anyway, so like everyone cold call, everyone door knock, everyone do this, this, and this, and you'll get clients. Like that's just not me. And so I needed to figure out a way to do me. And I want to empower you guys all to do exactly the same thing. And if you guys want, I am also going to open up some one-on-one strategy sessions. And basically, you know, if you guys are thinking like, okay, I want to do this, but my situation is different, or I need some help figuring out exactly how to word what's going on in my mind, I would love to sit down with you and kind of figure this all out. Like I said earlier, I'm an open book. So it's just, you know, I talk a lot and I don't always, my brain doesn't always go on a straight path. So you may have had a question and I almost answered it, but I'm trying.
I'm on a Zoom call. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, guys, anything else?
No.
Okay. All
Thank you
right.
so much.
You're so very welcome, everyone. I'm so happy to have had you guys all here. Thank you for sticking around. And, you know, like I said, if there's anything I can do, please reach out to me. I am going to send out the recording, basically to everyone who sent me their email for the invite. I'm going to try and I think I can go back in and get like those emails and just send it out that way. But basically, I'm not, you know, I am just happy to help. All right, you guys, thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day. If you need anything, please reach out to me. I'm always here. Okay. All right. Thank you guys. All right. Bye-bye.